This clip and many others like it are from part 1 of the Ubi Petrus Eric Ibarra debate review, which can be found at the links in the video description.
Lastly, during the midst of the Acacian Schism, a local dispute in Rome showcases the emergence of the claim that the Pope can be judged by no one, a principle accepted by many saints revered by the Orthodox Church. The dispute involved a rivalry to the papal throne between a certain Laurentius versus Pope Saint Symmachus. Among other things, the driving force behind the resolution to this Roman schism was that even if the Roman pontiff were guilty of certain crimes, he cannot be judged by any earthly inferior, ecclesiastical or secular, precisely because he occupies the authoritative position that Jesus Christ gave to St. Peter, the head of the universal church. Multiple saints, including Pope Symmachus himself, Pope Hormisdas, who was a deacon notary at the councils that formulated the principle that the first see is judged by no one, Saint Enodius of Pavia, Saint Avitus of Milevis, and Saint Laurentius of Milan all testified to this. A century later, Pope Saint Gregory the Great, known by the Greeks as the Dialogist, spoke in favor of Symmachus' side of this dispute, showing his own belief in the principle the first see is judged by none.
Do you think, in the case of Saint Silverius, he was deposed by Belisarius, he's sent to Justinian, finds out, says, you have to give this guy a trial. He's handed over to Vigilius. And Vigilius, he was a horrible person. I don't remember from the sounds of it. He was horrible. I mean, how does that work out? If Vigilius is the pope, but he's judging a former pope, that means that the deposition of the former pope had to be valid. If Vigilius is a pope, if the deposition was not invalid, and Vigilius is judging him, then you still have the situation of a pope being judged by a non-pope.
I'll be candid with you. This
Please.
is something that I have not really had a satisfactory answer to.
Okay.
So I'm not really satisfied with my answer to that question.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. That clip of me asking Eric about Pope St. Silverius, of course, comes from much later in the debate. That being said, I thought it was important to juxtapose it here with Eric stating that no pope could be judged by ecclesiastical or secular authorities was the understanding of the first millennium church. When it was pointed out to Eric that his lack of an answer was a serious strike against him, he claimed that he could not understand how the deposition of a 6th century pope had anything to do with a debate in which it was claimed that in the 5th through 6th centuries it was the understanding of the church that a pope could not be deposed. Either he is playing dumb, or he really cannot see how they connect. But the comment below is from the guy who helped him write his opening statement and organize the questions. They are both publicly admitting that they cannot understand how a 6th century pope being deposed is pertinent to the topic of a debate in which it is repeatedly claimed that in the 6th century it was the understanding of the church that a pope could not be deposed. In at least 2 of the debate reviews Eric has done, he doubles down on his claim that he doesn't see how it's connected whatsoever. And this is part of a larger theme that I have realized, and that is, anything which does not fit their narrative is simply surrounded and sectioned off and then dismissed. In much the same way that if a foreign object enters your body, say shrapnel, and your body cannot get rid of it, it will surround it and section it off in an effort to keep it from harming the rest of your body.